Welcome to the deep dive. If you're here, you want to get informed fast. And today, well, we're looking at EON Reality. They've announced this pretty ambitious plan.
Very ambitious. A $10 billion economic impact by 2027 using their AI Academy model.
Exactly. So we're using their press release mainly, and our mission today is simple. Pull out the key insights. What does this actually mean for, knowledge transfer, the AI economy, all that?
Well, the first thing that jumps out is the sheer scale of the problem they're tackling. It's global. Their announcement highlights some pretty sobering stats. The World Economic Forum figures talking over 1 billion jobs being transformed by tech soon.
1 billion. Wow.
And half the workforce needing reskilling by 2027. That's huge. Plus this projected 40% gap between jobs disappearing and new ones being created.
And that skills gap has a massive price tag, doesn't it? Something like $8.5 trillion a year globally by 2030.
That's the estimate, yeah. And meanwhile, you have this AI economy booming, $15.7 trillion projected, but, well, the benefits aren't exactly widespread yet.
All right, concentrated. So EON Reality, they come from this AR/VR knowledge transfer space.
Leaders in that field.
And they're putting forward this AI Academy to try and, democratize that $15.7 trillion pie, essentially.
Exactly. It's a fundamentally different approach they're proposing. Their whole strategy seems to rest on 4 main pillars. And the ROI they're claiming, well, it certainly gets your attention.
Okay, yeah, let's dig into those ROI claims. Because their white paper, Democratizing Knowledge in the AI Era, it lays out some big numbers.
It does.
For universities, they're talking, 37% revenue bumps, 58% more students, plus new income streams.
And for governments, it's a 3.2x return on what they invest, supposedly, with 76% of people in the programs getting jobs.
Which is a key metric for government programs.
Absolutely. Then for businesses, enterprises, they're projecting something like $437 million in annual benefits. And get this, 94% knowledge retention from experts who are retiring. That's huge.
That is huge, especially with the silver tsunami everyone talked about. And even for regions, they mentioned creating nearly 200 sustainable businesses.
187, yeah. And cutting down on skilled young people leaving by almost 3/4.
So, okay, these are big promises. How do they plan to deliver? That must be the next pillar, right? Their tech.
Precisely. Pillar 2, proprietary technology. They lean heavily on their 25 years in the game.
A long time in tech.
Definitely gives them an edge, they argue. A standout feature is this AI content creation system. They claim it cuts down development time by like 95 to 98%.
98%? That's almost eliminating the time cost.
It's a massive speed-up claim.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is the tech isn't just one thing. It's versatile. It works on basically any device, phones, tablets, laptops, headsets, AR glasses.
Device agnostic, that's important for reach.
Crucial. They also talk up their brainy AI mentor. Personalized guidance, remembers context. Sounds quite advanced.
And they have tools for non-coders, too.
Yeah, no-code app development. So entrepreneurs can build things without being software engineers.
And this all plugs into some kind of data system, linking learning, careers, startups.
Right, an integrated ecosystem. The key takeaway they stress is that these technologies aren't just separate tools. They multiply each other's value when used together.
Okay, so powerful tech. What's pillar 3?
Global presence. They're already operating in over 80 countries.
80, okay.
And their marketplace platform apparently has 42 million users.
Yeah.
So they've got scale. Plus, they emphasize their experience with different regulations, cultures, even local payment systems.
So they're telling potential partners, we can help you go global because we're already there.
That seems to be the message, yes. Confidence in scaling internationally.
Which leads nicely into the 4th pillar, this revolutionary partnership model. It sounds like they want to ditch the old vendor-customer thing.
Yeah, move towards strategic alliances, shared goals, shared rewards. Look at how they frame it for universities.
Right.
Partners keep 100% ownership of the content they create. And they get an 80% cut of the revenue from the marketplace.
80%? That's unusual. Usually the platform takes a much bigger slice.
Exactly. It explains that quote from the European University president calling it incomparably superior, talking about new revenue and leading innovation.
Right. It sounds genuinely appealing from the university's perspective. What about for governments?
For them, it's about flexibility and results.
Yeah.
They offer performance-based models, potentially reducing upfront costs.
Pay for performance, essentially.
Sort of.
Yeah.
And they project that 5 to 8 times economic return over 5 years, plus building local capability. That Southeast Asian education minister, quote, calling it the only viable option for national skills transformation. That's a strong statement.
Very strong. Okay, and for the big companies, the enterprises.
Integration is key there. Plugging into existing HR systems, ERPs, learning management systems, and again, big ROI claims. 250, 400% over 3 years. Plus, cutting down the time it takes to get employees competent by 68%. The Fortune 100 CLO, quote, mentioning $400 million in benefits and competitive advantage that speaks volumes to corporate needs.
And finally, investors and entrepreneurs, there's an incubator.
An AI Academy incubator, yes. And they're forecasting pretty high success rates for the ventures coming out of it, 35 to 50%.
Which is way above the average for startups, right?
Significantly. They expect the portfolio value to top $5 billion by 2027. So that venture capital partner calling it revolutionary with unprecedented success rates, you can see why they'd say that if those numbers hold up.
Okay, so compelling models for different groups. But then there's this angle about limited slots.
Right, they're being strategic about the initial rollout. Limiting partners is the first phase, the 2025 foundation phase, they call it.
Why limit it? Quality control.
That's the reasoning given, ensuring success for early partners. And they're offered in sweeteners. Category exclusivity, better revenue sharing, priority support, co-development chances.
So get in early, get the best deal, and a head start.
Exactly. That quote from the Asian University chancellor about gaining insurmountable advantages by joining early hammers that point home. It's about creating market leaders.
And the rollout is phased. 2025 foundation, 26 acceleration, 27 leadership.
The implication being that those prime early adopter benefits diminish over time. Mr. Lejerskar from EON apparently highlighted the compounding advantages for those early partners.
So the gap between the early birds and the latecomers could get pretty wide, pretty fast.
That seems to be the underlying message, yes. A growing competitive advantage over time.
Okay, so wrapping this up, EON Reality is basically presenting this huge integrated plan, using their tech and partnerships through the AI Academy to tackle the skills gap and spread the wealth of the AI economy.
That's the vision. And they're making some pretty bold claims about the potential benefits for universities, governments, businesses, entrepreneurs, pretty much everyone.
And the call to action is quite clear, isn't it? For leaders thinking ahead, they're suggesting now is the time to look into this to potentially grab that early advantage.
Yeah.
Exactly. Lejerskar's final point mentioned in the materials was about it being a decisive moment, warning that delaying could lead to a permanent competitive disadvantage.
Strong words. So for you listening, if this sparks your interest, the white paper is called Democratizing Knowledge in the AI Era. EON offering briefings too, and there's their EON XR spoken blog.
Plenty to dig into if you want more detail.
Definitely. So here's something to think about as we finish. How is this fusion of AI and immersive tech like AR and VR going to change things? Not just education or work, but the whole way we learn and share knowledge.
And beyond that, what other industries are sitting there, maybe ripe for this kind of fundamental shakeup using these technologies? Something to ponder.